Alright, folks, we are live. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me loud and clear. Alright, folks, we are starting now. Somewhere our screen is still stuck. Right. I don't know what happens whenever I go live. It goes like this. From again, it's not transitioning. Screen capture. Google Chrome. Video capture. And transition. Okay, so it should be back up now. Need another thumbs up if you can see this. You should be seeing an AI video uh, session brief. All right, it's visible. Thank you guys for confirming. Okay, so today we will go through what are we learning today. First, we will revise what we had learned so far. So basics of an agent, and then we'll talk about sub agents. We'll try to use Ollama. Ollama is a tool, a software that can run a lot of free and open source models. So for a lot of tasks, you can use this. And Google has launched Gemma 4, which is an amazing model to be running on a local machine. You need at least 3 GB of RAM, but you can also use a free version of Gemma 4, which runs on a cloud, which is 31 billion parameters, right? The larger the parameters, the intelligent the model will be. That's all you need to know. Does not mean it will do your job effectively, but it will be uh, more, it will be more task oriented. It has the better knowledge. Okay, so we'll learn about Ollama, we'll learn about sub agents, and then we try to create some sub agents on building a fully developed AI video studio where we'll have sub agents, a casting director, a art director, a set director, and a film producer, a cameraman, all of them all working together, making you an AI video. And we will use it the entire AI. For a long form video, I strongly suggest you would need some subscriptions. For free form, you can generate videos, but mostly short form. You will not be able to generate more than 24 seconds of video in a day, which means if your prompts are not correct and you have only 3 tries in a day, if you feel this is very interesting to you, please go buy and get a subscription. But if you are not having, if it doesn't interest you, I think the first part of the session is going to be really, really interesting, where you will learn about making sub agents. All right. So can anybody would like to answer what are agents? It's on the screen, but just anybody, I'm making a poll. What are agents? What's the difference between an LLM and agent. We had covered this last time. Anyone? I'll just give it a minute because I think there's a 30 to 40 seconds lag in the live stream. So I'm looking at a screen. So anybody would like to take a small guess at what are sub agents or agents practically? What's the difference between LLM and agents? Someone just said that an agent has a memory and tools. That's exactly right. So an agent has a memory of tool. But let's say if you have to develop an entire project, can a single person hold the entire memory? Can you do that today? Yes, you can, but you will be under a lot of pressure because you will have so much of information. So, what will you do? You delegate your task, you hire your team member, or you work with your friends, right? So, similarly, if you are the project manager of anything, and I'm not talking about technical project manager who works in an organization typically, let's say you're working on any project, you're building your home or doing anything, you have people work for it, and then you overall orchestrate what everybody needs. Similarly, an agent can also call another agent, which is sub agent. So the main agent practically orchestrates and talk to sub agents, and sub agent does the job. And each sub agent actually has uh, multiple tasks they can do, and they use lesser token because they have lesser context. They only know what to do with a task. They will not know that the entire brief of a project, and they do not need to. But whatever they need, they can go and ask the main agent that I need this detail, and the main agent which has the lot of context can give it to a sub agent. This way you save a lot of token. Otherwise, every message, when your chat history become really big, even saying hi is sending your entire chat history or the compact compressed version of your chat history plus the message. So it takes a lot of tokens. So this technique also saves a lot of token, and this is far more efficient. Okay. So first we will start with working with Ollama. How many of you have installed Ollama? Because I've said there's a pre-read in the community yesterday. Just by raise of hands or thumbs up, how many of you have actually installed Ollama? Okay, so I like to use Ollama with my terminal. If you are using Windows, you will use CMD command, uh, which will run your terminal. Ollama can run both in terminal or as a software. I like to use more in the terminal because I am a developer, so I like it with the developer. Okay, I like how developer works, so I'm just gonna use my Ollama. Okay, so let me know when you can see the screen. You should see my terminal. All right, so I have this terminal and I have installed Ollama. So if you have installed Ollama, you can run Ollama run or Ollama list. Okay, you will see that I have a lot of models installed in my machine. These models, if you see, are 9.6 GB, 3.3 GB, and 274 MB as well. These are modeled for very specific task, right? I'm because this most of the community members are somebody who do not know how to code, so will not go into coding. But Ollama lets you install a lot of models locally, and you can install many cloud versions of the free models as well. I like to use the installed version where I'm using with my personal data and don't want any model to learn from me, right? If you're using a paid subscription, they will not use your data to train. But if you are using any open version, free versions of Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, their terms and conditions usually say that whatever you will talk here, they will use that data to train. So it's a trade that you're doing. So if I have to deal with a lot of my personal data, I personally use Ollama. I do not use you know, open versions of Claude. But open version of Claude or Chat GPT. I use Chat GPT on and off. I don't like Chat GPT anymore. Uh, it doesn't do the job. But if I have to do a lot of text reformatting, and if I have to connect multiple things where just I'm talking some text changes, I use Chat GPT. Otherwise, I don't use Chat GPT. It has a generous limit of generating images, so sometimes I do it. Google Nano Banana Pro has a rate limit every day. So today we will learn about Ollama first. So I'll transition to Ollama. Is my screen frozen? Alrighty. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Okay. My screen is still frozen, it seems. But can you hear me? Because I have something else on my screen and the stream shows something else. Let me add another thing. Okay, and I add a source camera. I don't know it. I've recorded so many videos, it doesn't give a problem, but I think this problem with the live stream only. Okay, now I think my screen is visible. You should see something on the terminal where I'm running Ollama. Alright, it's visible now. Okay, so I'm running Ollama. So I have a model Gemma 4. I'll just walk through what is Gemma 4. So I've just searched Gemma 4 Ollama on internet. You need Ollama to be installed on your local machine before you can actually use Gemma 4. It's not something that will run directly. If you understand OpenClaw, you can run Gemma 4 with OpenClaw as well. But this is something that you need Ollama. If you see, it says you can run Ollama with uh, Claude, you can run it with Codex, you can run it with many of the softwares that are today running on your machines to run any models, right? I'll just run this command. This is a command to run your Ollama model. So I already have it. I can run it. Ollama run Gemma 4. So now Ollama run Gemma 4. It'll just start the model on my local machine. I'll So this model actually is installed my locus. I am using the same name. Please use the same name because otherwise it will download the latest version, which could not be very effective on your machine. One, something that you have downloaded and of a size that fits your machine. Do not try to install 31 billion parameter on your machine. Your PC will just die. Try to use Ollama 4 billion, 2 billion locally on your machine, which is very effective. And again, I think because I ran latest, it is basically updated my model Gemma 4 latest is a little heavy. So let's try using with Gemma 3. Oops, what did I paste it here? All right, how many of you are able to follow where you are basically following the same steps? If you have installed Gemma, please try to run this. Do not, again, I'm saying, do not try to run 31 billion parameter. It requires 6 GB of RAM, VRAM. It will eat up your machine. I preferably use 4 billion, which takes 2 to 3 GB of the RAM. It can run locally. Now I am running a command high and it will respond locally. If you see it's thinking, it's showing it's thinking as well. But if you see it, it took a lot of time to respond. It actually uh, takes a lot of time. This is slower because this depends on my machine. If you have a very high end machine, or if you're running GPUs, it will run better. Mac usually has a GPU, but it's not meant for AI modeling. It's truly for graphics. So it gave a significant response. But if I am building something where my some of the models needs to run on Ollama, I can do that. Okay. Now this, if I say, I mean, if you see, what is your cutoff date? Okay, and you can try this with any model, anything that you use on AI, Chat GPT, uh, anything that you use. Most of the models will reply to this. This is the date to which the model is trained on. This is, if any instance happen after this, this model will not be able to answer it. And that's why agents are more important, because agent gives you the tools to fetch the latest data to feed to a model, and model has an understanding to answer based on the latest data. So this model was trained on something, I think January 2025. If you see this knowledge, it's saying a cutoff date refers to a deadline on a specific point in time after which a certain action, information, or transaction are no longer valid. I think it's gone into something and it's just giving some generic text. So this model is decently smart. I use it for text task. Most of us has been using task, but look at this. This is saying my established knowledge cutoff is January 2025. So it does not have any data after January 2025. It has given answer for every cutoff date, because I asked a very generic question. It gave answer for every cutoff date possible. But if I say write an email to school teacher for leave application because I am suffering from cold. Okay, these kind of a job it will be able to do pretty well, because it's meant for coding tasks and text tasks. If you try to talk it like a human, this is probably a 6-year-old kid or a 4-year-old kid who's been taught coding specifically, right? 31 billion parameter will probably be a 12th grade student which can code. But this is basically very simple model for all the text tasks. And how do I plug in into my entire sub models and everything, will come to that. But this is basically right. This is good meant for a lot of small tasks, writing emails, uh, changing the text. You give it one form of text, it gives you another form of text. Writing some small code, this is a great task. I mean, taskmaster that can do it on your machine, it can write task. But if you say write an entire application, it cannot do that. But if you say, hey, this is the function that I want on a code, it can do that. If you want a specific prompt to be built, it can do that. But if you think that this model does a lot of overthinking, so every time is not sure what is asking, it's giving me multiple model. So you have to be really, really specific. Go back to old chat GPT days where you had to be really, really specific. So you have to be very specific when you're talking to this model. And that is why I use Claude as an orchestrator, which knows how to talk to Gemma 4 and what exact instruction needs to be given. Anyways, irrespective of whatever instruction uh, Claude will give to a sub agent will be very, very specific. You don't have to worry on uh, what it does. Okay, now if you see, it has given me 4 5 options, but it is good. If I say write a code, uh, I'll just write a simple code, not for write a JavaScript function to add two numbers. You please, we talked about that this model is not, we will not cover coding, but this is for some of the audience who would want to use this for coding task. But this can be used as a sub agent. If you're trying to use it as a main agent for coding task, it will not do a good job. If you give it a function to write, if you use it as something that you would want to fill in your code when your main agent is actually checking all of its work, this will save a lot of token for you. So see, it's thinking a lot. So it takes time and it's running on local machine. But if you're writing blogs, if you're adding a lot of content, if you want something to be done, and if your tone and everything is done, this is a model. You don't have to spend a single penny. You can run it on your local machine and you will be able to actually use this model for multiple tasks. You have to be really specific of what you want from this model. There are very specific purpose model, one good for legal cases, one good for math, one good for coding, one good for something. For a generic intelligence, this is a, it's very popular model, and we will see that it's been downloaded for about 4 to 5 million already, and it's not even a month old. So this model, people are liking it because it does the job well, but you have to be very, very specific to use this model. Again, it's giving me ES6 because I said JavaScript, so even JavaScript is giving me 2 3 options. But if you see, it can write code, and what it does, the accuracy is probably for our developers. Later, this session is not for developers, so we'll just see that it can write code, and it's doing a lot of error checking if some of the coders are reading, right? So he's giving the explanation that it has written multiple options. Okay, I could be specific. I say, okay, give me only one option. It'll give me one option. If I said use this format of coding, it would have given me that format of coding. Okay, now this is about running a model locally, Gemma 4. Now, how do I plug it into Claude, where the Claude will give it a very specific instruction? Let's try to use that. Okay, so I'll just start my Claude. Oh, it's flashing my email. Alright guys, because it has shown my email, so I will keep this video private. This will not be beyond the community. I'll probably have to edit the video before I make it public. So it will be accessible only via link. It will not be accessible via my channel. I'll keep this video private. Alright, so now I have a Claude. Now I can instruct this to connect to Ollama. Now we discussed about APIs. So APIs is called application programming interface. It's when a machine wants to talk to another machine. Okay, so Ollama by default has a API which can trigger the model, and a Claude can hit APIs because Claude has a agentic capabilities. And we talked about APIs are a way that actually can sorry, just give me a moment. Yeah, Claude can actually, it has an agentic capability, it can actually call APIs. So if Ollama is accessible to APIs, which means Claude can invoke Ollama. Okay, so for larger text task where the text are simple but large in number, you can save a lot of token by using this technique. Okay, so let's do something. Okay, I'll give instruct the Claude to call Ollama and give it do the same task we have done. Okay, let's see. Um, I'll give it a task. I'll give it. Okay, using Ollama running on my local machine. Uh, check check. Using Ollama, my USB mic is not working. Sorry for that. I'll type it then. So I'll ask blog which was available in January 2025. Let's say we'll call about COVID lockdown. Okay. Authentication error. Okay. What happened here? Okay, I'm just repeating the instruction. I think I was logged out for some reason. So it's gonna run the Ollama run command now. If you see, it's running my terminal itself because it has the agent capability. Terminal is one of the tool available to Claude, right? But if I would have used Claude to write this, the 1,000 words would have been the output of Claude, which would have costed me money. And I'm just giving you a very simple example. Does not mean that uh, Claude is gonna. You can just simply say Claude to always call Ollama, and it'll give a very specific instruction. But there are very simpler tasks that you always have in your workflow. You can always use this kind of a technique. Now, if you see the blog is getting generated here, it's something which is Ollama is generating and is just saving. Now it becomes input token to Claude, and input tokens are usually half the price in any of the AI model. So your Claude is just gonna do review and just ask it to correct it. But if it's write the blogs again, then you're actually spending too many tokens. But for simpler tasks, you can use this. Okay. Now you're calling one model from Claude to another model. That connection is there. You can actually use it for multiple purpose. If you have a very specific model that can use uh, anything that's running on your machine, on your office servers, or something that is available as an API, you can actually use the same technique to save a lot of token. Right now, while this is generating, I would want some people to post some of the question. Is it making sense? Not making sense? Is it still too technical for you guys, or is it you're making? I mean, it's making perfect sense. Any question, guys? All good until now. And here's your blog. And I have used probably about the tokens counts were there. Okay, let's see. After this blog is visible, we'll see the usage, that how much tokens I have used. This is how you can, and this is not sub agent exactly, right? Because we called a different LLM, not a sub agent. Okay. And if you see the blog is coming out, it would have, if you would want to humanize it, there are plenty of tools available. Now you can see my usage, extra usage I've used. Today is 3% usage. So I've used very less today. Even though 1,500 words would have used much more. So it's showing how I'm using this model. I have multiple Claude accounts. And I can configure multiple things, and so it saves a lot of token. Okay, so for if you have a very fixed workflow, always use this technique, call different models for different tasks. Now we will learn about sub agents. We have learned about calling different models. Now we'll learn about sub agents, and then we'll deep dive in building the AI video studio. We'll create a really nice video, probably a 10-15 second video or a 30-40 second video, where we will create a story of a rabbit, that a white rabbit that I had on my thumbnail. All right, everything clear, guys? Now we'll talk about sub agents. I'll just create, I'm sharing my screen on a Visual Studio Code, but we are not coding. I just like to organize my files. If you have a better tool or a edit text editor, Sublime, where you're comfortable using anything that's, you can organize all the project files into one folder, you can use that. I like to use Visual Studio Code because it gives a very nice UI of how do you organize your files in a folder. You can see it, all of them. We'll not be writing any code today, but let's see how sub agent works. Okay, I'm sharing my screen on Visual Studio Code. Yes, code. Why is, sorry guys, I think having some trouble. Okay, I can see it now. Oops. Alrighty, let me know when you can see my screen. We are onto a Visual Studio Code. It's nothing, you don't have to code. I am not asking you to code. This is just a file organizer, and I will invoke Claude into the same folder. I've just created this folder called sample video, so that whatever files that I'm creating with Claude, if you're using Claude Copilot or if you're running locally, there are files that will be saved somewhere. I'm just seeing those files here. Okay, and I'm not going to use Visual Studio Agent here. You can, if you see, it says build AI with agents. We can have a very specific session only for developers, because is a tool developed by used by developers, but you can use any text editor that you like, which can show you all the files put together into a folder. I am using this software. It does not, just because it has the name code in it does not mean that you have to use this software. Okay, so I'll go into this folder. I've created this folder sample video. There are no files in this folder, and I will start my Claude into this folder. Again, I said I'm more comfortable with using Claude on my terminal. So I'm just transitioning to it. Where is terminal 2? Okay, transition. Okay. Okay, so basically what I did here is I went to the same folder and I started my Claude. So whatever files I'll create will be seen here. And this is a very interesting thought process to understand that how Claude actually creates subfolders and sub agents. Okay, now we are starting something, a video production house. Okay, what is that we need first? So if you can give me what, if you're starting a video production house, what your team will be. So we'll create every team member here, right? Some team members will create, which will do multiple tasks, but some team members will create. So please on chat, talk about what member should be there in this video production house. I think the stream is lagging behind a lot now. Sorry for that, but this is an interesting question. Yeah. Producer, scriptwriter, okay. Cameraman. Who else? Anybody? Guys, please participate. It'll be interesting only when you will participate. Otherwise, when you will see this video, because we are having so many pauses today, you'll not without editing, I'm confessing that you'll not like this video. It is interacting right now, so please interact. Please talk about what team member should be there in a production house. Intern, very important. Yeah, one intern said this. Okay, but this is a pro team, guys. Intern. Okay, anything. Gaurav Khurana, I'll call out your name. You're from the industry. Actors, yeah, but who hire that actors is a casting director. Okay, so let's see. Let's create a cast first. Okay, let's first create the story. Okay, the first thing that we will have is the story. Yes, video editors. The first thing is we'll create a story, and as I said, I use ChatGPT for all this kind of a camera specialist. Okay, practically a cameraman and a screenplay writer. What you meant, Hari, right? A screenplay writer talks about how the camera angle will be, or a DOP actually. Okay, now let's create a dummy story first, and then we'll try to create a different team for it, and then I will show you both manual way and a fully agentic way to produce the entire production house. Okay, so what story you want to create? Any ideas? Any thoughts? So let's say we created a story. It's a, I'll check. My mic is not working. I don't know why. It's a story about a white rabbit. Okay, this one we know. Okay, who wears a suit. Okay, it's a Pixar-style cartoon movie. What else do we know? This rabbit is a big businessman who is going to space for space exploration, and his wife and two kids are worried. Okay, my bad. Okay, so now if you see, I'm just still typing on the chat GPT screen. I'm just creating a fictitious story. This rabbit is a big businessman who's going to space to for space exploration, and his wife and two kids are worried. He has a best friend, which is black and white rabbit, who also wants to join but does not have enough money. Okay, this story will be running in mute or by narration, so make the script accordingly. I want to make a 2 minutes video on this. Okay, very funny, very unrelated, something I've just given. Okay, story title is called Beyond the Stars, duration 2 minutes, format narration or soft background music, no dialogues required, core theme ambitious, ambition versus family, success versus sacrifice, scene by scene, opening script, a futuristic city, clean glass tower, flying vehicles, a tall building, and all of that. Okay, now first we need, as I said, we need the cast. We need the cast. Can you make separate images of for all the characters and the sets? Okay, this is how you manually do it, but similarly if you can connect or invoke, so you're visualizing your story first, but let's visualize how it's coming out. You're casting, but everything you're doing on your own. Okay, as I said, we will run how I do it manually each step, and then we'll talk about a fully agentic way where we will learn about sub agents. Okay, look at this. There's an agent. There's a sorry. This is the rabbit. It has a wife, two kids. This is how the ship will go. Ship will go. This is the friend who's black and white, and this is the family house, right? But if you see, there is the instructions are very different. I gave separate images, but it created separate images into one images. How AI will pick it up, I do not know, right? But let's try Gemini now. Now Google Gemini uses Google Nano Banana Pro, so this is far more efficient. Google Nano Banana Pro is the best image model available. Okay, let me change my email that has generous limit. Okay, all right, now we'll create the same style. Okay, create a picture of Pixar-style white rabbit who is a businessman wearing black suit and red tie. Okay, okay, we'll put tortoise as cameo as well, as somebody asked. So first I'm saying that, if you're doing it for free, this is how you will have to work across multiple screens. A sub agents can actually do this all of that self. Okay, let's look at the storyline that we had created on on chat gpt. If we like it, then we'll start building sub agents. Okay, now opening the world, the futuristic city, clean glass tower, flying vehicles. It's giving some background. Cut to white rabbits in a sharp road looking out the window at a space rocket launching. Narration: in the world chasing the stars, some dreams comes at a cost. Introduction: the montage, the rabbit leading meeting, signing contracts. Watching this, he looks confident but slightly distant. Family moment, wife, yeah, and all. I mean, it looks okay to me. I'm gonna keep this story. Okay, and I'm gonna create a new file into my Visual Code. Just as a story. Okay, this is my story. I'm just calling it mark story.md. You can use story.txt as well. I use md because that's a format. All of the we have covered this in the past session, that what are the markdown files. You can preview it very differently. So this is how it reads, but I can preview it like a full story in by pressing Control Shift MD, Control Shift V into my Claude code or a markdown viewer. You will be able to see it like a rich text document, or you can paste it in Word document as markdown, some of the Word document, but you'll have to enable that plugin. So you can paste it like this. Now I like to use it this way. This is more convenient and it's very easy and light for the models. It's saved as a text file, but you can preview it as a rich text document. Okay, this is the story. Okay, I'll just remove this if you want the twist, because ChatGPT has asked me a lot of questions. So I'll just remove this and I save this. Okay, now if you see, this is the story. Now what is my sub agent? Okay, first thing, I'll go into my Claude, into the same folder. I'll call init. Init basically creates a Claude, which is the agent file that you will need. Where's my terminal? Okay, so I'm in my Claude now. The first thing that I will do is I'll do /init. Okay, and this is why I use Claude code, because a lot of commands are available that you can use into your project. Now this will read your project. Right now we only have one file, which is the story.markdown file. So Claude will understand that what it does. So it becomes your main agent, and these can have a guardrail. So it's guessing what the project could be. If you could start with a blank project as well. But look at it's writing a Claude.md. It will be created in some time into my terminal, into my project, sorry. So my Claude is almost done, and here we have a Claude.md. So in the Claude.md, you'll see that this file provides the guidance to Claude code when working with story in this repository. This is video storyboard, storyboard script project animated for a short film Beyond the Stars. The single story.md file contains the script, and it's just talking about what the project is about. Okay, now Claude understand that it has the context of what to be done in this project. Okay, now we'll create the sub agents, and then we'll talk about creating a fully autonomous agent connecting Gemini and everything through API. You will not need cloud subscriptions for it. You can actually go for many platforms, Higgins Field, and Key, where all of these models are available as API. So you can connect everything through APIs and can create a fully AI studio. And if you're doing this for hobby, you will have to create it the way I said, story in one template, then images in probably Gemini, and then VO in Gemini, and then you will have to edit manually. But if you want to do it professionally, or you want to understand how it's done, professionally and fully autonomous, you will need subscriptions. I have given you formats that you can use Ollama, you can use multiple bunch of stuff that you can practically do it without building any paid subscription, but you will not be able to build very good quality images because you will have very less limit in a day, which leaves you with very accurate prompts in a day. But a lot of people are still making money on that. So people have become so good on prompting, they generate 3 videos a day and they just club it and they launch a 24-second video. But if you really want to do something that's more professional, you will have to have subscription, but you can definitely try on solving your prompts on uh, Claude or Chat GPT or Gemini separately, and then use those skills to build an agent when you are confident. Okay. Now, I'm in my Claude folder. It has understood what my project is about. Now we'll create sub agents. Okay. Create sub agents for your production house. Okay, let's try to create a skill. Okay, let's do it with a skill so that if I can move this skill to any other folder tomorrow, I'll be able to use this skill in multiple projects and can even ship it. I can publish it. So let's create a skill. Okay, create a skill for a Pixar style cartoon movie short filmmaker about 2 minutes each. Okay, and I will update the skill later, but I'm just creating the skill that you will understand that how much instruction you need to give. You can you can avoid a lot of instructions by creating a skills later, and you can keep on giving guardrails or everything that you feel that your AI is not able to do. Just update your skill, and once it's fine tuned, you can distribute it with multiple people. So I'm creating a skill for a Pixar style cartoon movie short filmmaker about 2 minutes each. This skill has the entire production house of sub agents. For example, script writer, okay, casting director, gives prompt for VO, gives prompt for Nano Banana Pro images, okay, and I will be using VO. VO is a model for Google Gemini that creates videos. So I'm just giving it a background, right? For video generation. And I'm saying adding some more background to it. We'll not talk about editing. Editing will come back in some time. I'm just talking about creating sub agent, and each sub agents you will paste a script and it creates an entire team. Okay, there will be a lot of b-roll videos. So b-roll videos are essentially the videos where the actors are not there. It's about a scene, let's say a bus flying, a car running, or a shot of a house, or a transition to a nature scene. So a lot of b-roll, these are called b-roll videos. So we'll be creating a lot of b-roll video. Okay, so whatever sub agents you need, you can decide now. Editing will be done using Remotion. Okay, Remotion is a skill. It's a will come to Remotion, but I'm just mentioning it here. Okay, now it'll ask me a lot of questions if it is not clear with this, and then it'll create a skill. And that's why I wanted to make this into a project folder so that you'll understand what a sub agent is and how it is written, how it's done, and then we will give it a story and then see the prompt it creates, especially the casting director, what kind of cast comes out of it. Okay. So we are not giving it an imagination. We are restricting it that you please create prompts. Let's put a tortoise. Okay. Again, cameos. We'll give it a tortoise in the story now. Check, check. I don't know why my audio is not getting picked up. Check. Check, check. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so it's creating a skill called Pixar Short Film Maker. I have not given this name. It's actually going and making a skill which can create sub agents, and then we'll give it a story and see that it creates what kind of a text prompts it gives, and then we'll copy paste those prompts into Google Gemini and see what kind of video comes out. Then I'll show you a way that how we can do an entire uh, agent by if everything is available to me as an API, then we are sorted. Rather than creating prompts only and pasting it to different softwares, I can call all the APIs directly from the system. Okay. And can actually wait for the video to come. Okay. Now it has created a director, a script writer, a casting director, a storyboard artist, scene prompt engineer, B-roll director, music director, and a emotion director, editor. Okay. It says we are ready. Okay. What it has actually done in my folder, it has actually created a folder called .claude. So Claude always saves its, I think it has saved the skill in, save the skill in current project. Okay. By default, when you are not mentioned, I've just typed save the skill in the current project on the Claude, because by default Claude saves it available to all the devices or everything that's available in the machine. So I'm just moving the skill to current directory. So just give me a minute. Okay, now it is back. If you see this .claude folder, it has a skills folder and it has a skill.md. And it has created how and how script and film will be produced. So let's try out creating a film. I'm going back to my Claude window. Okay, I use Claude Code, but I can connect my Claude Code here as well. I don't want to just confuse people that what is this build agent, because this is too technical. So I'm going back to Claude CLI. CLI means command line interface. You can install it in your terminals, or you can use it or install Claude as a software as well. It will have the same output, but you need to tell that everything needs to be saved in your local machine. Thus, that's Claude Copilot, not Claude, the Claude.ai. If you're doing that on Claude.ai, it will still be able to do everything that you need, but your entire data is on Claude. Cloud, it's not on your machine, which means you will have to download. And sometimes editing and few stuff becomes really hard when it's all running on Claude server. So I'm just transitioning to my terminal. Okay. Now I'm back on my terminal and I will give a story. Okay. We have already given a story. So I'll say just use the story.md. Use the story.md to create a Pixar-style short film and put a cameo of Tortoise in a movie. Tortoise is meeting the rabbit after a long time, trying to convince him that do not take rational decision, because Tortoise won the last race and rabbit moved on to become a businessman after that. So they have a history. Update story.md about and create final scripts accordingly. Okay, so I've given it an instruction. Now I'm using something called whisper flow. So I'm not actually typing. I can speak and it will type for me. So it's a large sentence. I do not need to type it. Earlier I was having issues. You must have seen that. Now I did not type. I actually spoke it and it typed it. So it's another AI tool that I use. Okay. So now if you see, it has a started skill Pixar short filmmaker, and it's loaded the skill and it says, I am the director. Let me read the original story first. Then I'll dispatch sub agents in parallel. Okay. So if you recall that how we did sub agents in our N10 session, this is, I had to plan every sub agent. Using Claude code and now even Codex, you can dispatch sub agents by just simply asking that create sub agents. That's all. And it will create multiple sub agents and it will dispatch sub agents and everybody will do their job. And they will talk to the main agent, which is something that you have developed, and they will give a report to him that we are done, this is what we have done. But again, I am talking on a very very high language that just create a story. Okay, we have not talked about, we'll have a very precise session of this whole session that we are having. I'll have a very short video made only on just the steps, because we are talking and learning the concepts a lot on how the sub agents are done and before getting into a story. But the important thing is to learn the concept that what we are doing. We are creating sub agents. We sub agents essentially are better for output. It's better for tokens, and you will still have to review every single thing sub agents are doing. Do not say, hey, create a story and then just wait and you think that something magical will happen. You will have to tell a lot of your taste. A lot of time your first shot could be something that you like it, but many times you will not like it. You will see it has some glitch, or the story is not right, or the dialogue is not right, or for any other task you'll have to review whatever AI does. And that's why I always keep my stories as always ask. So if you see, it's keep on asking me, would you like to continue, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I always review what AI is telling. We'll probably review in Jiffy in interest of time, because we have already taken an hour. We'll spend about another 30 to 40 minutes on this session, and I don't want to keep it really long. But the point is, we'll review it, but not in detail today. Okay, so it's still creating a lot of data. If you see, we'll do fast. I hope we could do fast forward, but sometimes it takes time. And we'll go to our VS Code and transition. Okay, now if you see, it's all text files. I'm not writing any code. Okay, so now it's a cast.md is looking. Let's see what it is creating. Leo. Okay, it has created a prompt. Let's see now what happens in this prompt when we paste this prompt into Gemini. Let's start a new session. I'm pasting the character name as well. You probably do not need to do it. I'm just going into Gemini and pasting this. Okay. Now it has created a transition and it has created a character like this. Now let's paste the second one. Where is the, it has given, this is tortoise corridor. It was giving me the home, family, cast, Mia. So it's giving me different scenes with the how and where the Leo will be. Okay. So now the Leo will be done, available in some other source. I'm pasting the other prompt. It's again Leo. So if in the script, I'll go back to script and I'll talk about how it has planned the casting, has how the casting is done. So if you see here, this is Leo in the boardroom. This is Leo with his home and family. This is Leo in the tortoise corridor and the Leo in peaceful decision. Okay. Now I am going to back to my Claude code and I'm just gonna paste everything now one by one so that I have the scenes done. So this is Leo with his family. I'll paste Leo with the tortoise corridor. I'm just pasting it here because I'm just wanting to be sure that it's doing it right. Okay, this is one way you can, if you have only Claude code, you don't want to spend on Google, then you can do this. There is Grok that gives free limit. You can use Grok as well, similar way where you can paste the prompts and create images. Now he's going into the spaceship. He's scared. Now if you see, the consistency is coming very similar because white rubber character in Pixar 3D animated style, white fur, tall frame, long ears, pressed back, anxious. Now if you see, it is coming very similar. Okay, and anyways, it's in the same session as well. It will become very similar. And then last, I'm also seeing the, now I'm confident on the casting director. Okay, so my casting director is doing good job. I'm pasting another prompt, last prompt for Leo, and see if it is doing well. So I know my casting director is doing good job. So you can try the same on even Chat GPT, but I kind of liked more around Nano Banana Pro. Now if you see, this is the image is coming again. It's fantastic. Now he's crying, looking at a badge. And I just want, because people requested on tortoise, let's see where is the tortoise Theo. I'm just pasting Theo's okay, I'm just pasting it, Theo's input here as well. So I'm not switching between the screens. You'll still be able to see the output directly in Google Gemini. So if you're liking this technique and understood how sub agents work, please drop a boom in the chat. Now look at that. The tortoise is wearing a medal. He's still, feeling proud of winning the race from the rabbit. So drop a boom if you're liking the session so far, if you think this is interesting. And we have not done any video yet, okay? We'll just create one video and then you'll understand. Alright, I'm transitioning back what our Claude has completed so far. Okay. So Claude has created a casting. It has given B-roll prompts for a lot of videos. It has updated my story. And it has given, see, the soft piano music and all of that. It has given a storyboard, that how the storyboard will be. It's a wide angle shot, 5 seconds, slow push in above futuristic city sky. flying vehicle. It's giving a lot of this thing, and there is a b-roll prompts as well. So b-roll, now we'll create a, let's try a b-roll creation using on Google Gemini only. Okay, and I am pasting a prompt: Pixar 3D animated, why radial establishing, shock futuristic dawn, pink dark sky, flying vehicle. Okay, smooth motion, cinematic 24 fps. Okay, now I'm pasting this again in my Chrome, and let's see, is it coming consistent? By the way, you can give images as reference and then use it to create videos as well using Gemini. And look at what sub-agents were created. The sub-agents are created on the fly. So it creates on the fly sub-agents. But if you want similar kind of sub-agents, you'll usually see a folder called agents here. So right now it's doing everything. Let's call it to update the skill so that you'll understand what sub-agent before we start making a video. Okay, the video has, this is the city that has come out. It's looking very good. Okay, convert into a video as per the last prompt. Okay, so we'll at least understand that it's doing right, and then I'll transition back to my VS Code while it's generating. Let's go in the terminal first and say, okay, update all the agents into the agents folder so that you can have consistency next time. Do not randomly create agents team. Your sub agents, their prompts and everything needs to be defined. Okay. So it's transitioning. Let it think for a while. Now Google Gemini takes about 2 minutes to generate a video. So that's why I'm working on sub agents, and then we'll understand the sub agents, and then we'll create a final agent which will do it, just all of it by one prompt. Next time I'll say this is what's happening in the story. I visualize and understand the story, not waste my token on chat GPT. I'll go to chat GPT, visualize my story, paste my story.md, and I'll simply create this story, and it's done. Okay, so now it has started creating agents, director and all of that, and I'll transition what's happening on Claude in my VS Code. So if you see, I'm using VS Code only to organize my files. I mean, it's just viewing all the files put together. Still writing, I believe. Move all sub agents to local folder only. Okay, so it's still writing. I've instructed again, it's going to the common folder. So you'll see an agent folder soon here. Claude is working. Let me transition. It's becoming boring. I'll transition to my terminal. Okay, I see the full files are getting moved. Once it's moved, we'll transition to Visual Code and see all of the transitions. See all of the skills, and then I'll plug in something called key that I'll just open, and I'll show you that it has API. It's slightly expensive than directly Google VO, but because it gives API, everything put together, you can actually use this very effectively because you're using Claude to generate prompts, so your output will be much more effective. You don't have to worry about how you will give the prompt. So your prompts are also written by Claude, so you can imagine that your prompt and your output will be really really cool, and you can use these kind of services. Otherwise, somebody who knows a bit technical, you can actually not use API. You can actually use something called Playwright MCP. You can actually manipulate the browser and go and paste the prompt onto a web interface, which can actually generate videos, and then you can download as well. I like to use it with APIs, and that's my personal choice. That costs me money, but I'm also using for learning, and I use very minimal token once I'm learned. If I think I will make it a profession or can use this service which I can sell or consult, then I keep it, else I shut that down. Okay, so I think our files have been moved. It's still updating. We'll transition what's happening on our Visual Studio Code. So if you see, the skills is still getting moved here, and if you see, the agents are here. If you see, it has 7 sub agents: a director, a scriptwriter, a casting director, a storyboard artist, a music director, a scene prompt engineer, B-roll director, remotion editor. Okay, remotion is basically a skill that can edit. We'll walk through in some time. Now let's start creating some of the videos. Let's go back to our video that has been generated on our browser. Okay, now the video is generated. Look at that, the video. Isn't that amazing? It looks very Pixar-style automated video, and it's all connected. It's coming in a similar theme. You can use it Pixar-style, you can use Ghibli-style, you can actually use real people as well. Okay, you can actually use real people. Your prompt just has to be say, I personally like Pixar-style movies, so I'm just creating based on that. You can actually use real people, real stories, real sets. But then Sea Dance is another model that's doing very good on realistic people and realistic stories. For everything else, I find Veo really good, so we are using Veo here. So what are your thoughts on this video? Drop a boom if you are thinking it's doing an awesome job. Yeah, Zootopia is also a Pixar-like movie. Alrighty. So now you understood. How many of you understood sub agents? If you understood, we can move on to building a fully autonomous agent, a full production house, right? And you can try out similar way before you become perfect on writing your skills and prompts. Try it in a different way. Try it with ChatGPT. Try it with Gemini. Try it with Grok. Use a lot of free tools. Once you think your output is coming to your taste, that's when you should invest into an API service that gives all of this. Higgs field gives API. Then there is key that gives API. So I'm going to use key for it. KIE. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen. So I'm using something called key.ai, and I will log into this. If you see, they are also saying that they have C dance. C dance is very human like, and I can use any API. So I'm going to use VO as an API, and let's see what it does. I'll give this documentation. I'll not spend my time. Okay. So I'll just copy this link. Okay, and I'll tell you that how easy it is, and just look at the video that's coming out first. This is a video generated by VO with this kind of a prompt. Once you see this video, it's amazing. It's very tempting, and we're gonna make a video. So we're gonna just copy paste this video into our terminal, and I'm not typing in terminal. I'm just pasting the video links, and then we'll go to terminal. Nano Banana Pro. Okay. And I'm pasting my API key, which is available on my login. I'll transition once I paste my key. So I'm just pasted my these two links, Nano Banana and VO. And I'll just, where is my API key? I'm just gonna I can create an API key. I can delete it later, no worries. Okay, so I'm just generating an API key, and I'll call it for the session. I'll copy this, and I'm pasting everything into my terminal. Okay. Okay. Now, using the details and everything that you and the documentation, update your skills in local directory, so that you use actual APIs to generate images and videos. Call the image and video, and make sure that when the scenes are extended, you connect it together, and use extend API, not generate API always. Extend API needs to be used when the scene is in continuation, so that have a character consistency. No character should be talking. We'll add the narration later or the music later. Okay, so I've given this big prompt, and now a lot of things that I've given, do not do this, do not do that, because what happens is, unless you are extending all the APIs together, if you're using generating dialogues from AI, and if your characters are speaking, you will need to spend extra money. So that then you will need ElevenLabs to generate your entire audio, which is every time the person is speaking, you will need to use a voice changer so that it speaks everything as with the lip sync. If AI is not generating voice, you can simply do it with narration. So for this session, I'm using with narration. But if you're using with AI, you will always have to use extend API, not a generate API, which is something that I've added here. Because extend API will use the same voice, because you will generate the images first, your character consistency will be maintained, but because your voice may not be continuing if your characters are speaking. So a lot of things that I've said is because I know that this will not work, because I've been trying this for a while. So voice consistency does not stay. So that's why I've asked to stay my characters to be muted, and I'll add a narration so that I have to generate only, one time video, where one time voice, sorry. Okay, so while it's getting generated, let's wait, and then we'll see what our directors does it. Okay, now it's just starting and testing. Okay, because I've just said tested, so it will test as well. It will try to understand it. You could be a little more specific. I'm just writing it simple so that it makes sense for everybody. So it's basically testing and trying how the API works, what parameters to pass, where to pass the prompts. So every prompt that has been generated is actually will hit the API directly, and all the raw footages and videos will be saved in the local folder. And then I'll ask it to just edit it, and then we'll just talk about remotion, that how you edit properly, how the scene by scene is available. You can, how you make cuts, how you add music. All right, peeps. How are you finding the session so far? And how many of you understood sub agents now? First, let's vote the sub agents. How many of you understood the sub agents? So just posted a poll. Just enter into the chat. Please answer your, what is your understanding of sub agents? Mm-hmm. 2 votes. All right. All right, so everybody has voted. I can see about 9, 10 people only live, but thank you for all the love, or thank you for people who have stayed this entire duration. Okay, now if you see, our agent meanwhile is ready. Okay, the agent will actually now call all the APIs, and I have enough credits. And the good advantage about Key, the KIE, the one thing that I was using, is that it's prepaid. So it's not bill. If you think you only need $10, you add $10. If you think you need $5, you need $5. If you think you need $2, you use only $2. And it is as per use. The tokens does not expire. Okay. Now it says I'll generate it. Okay. I'll just give it a simple instruction now. Now keep all the raw assets into a local folder called assets, and then start actually making user all the or start making all the assets now. Do you have the 11 labs keys for narration? Okay, let's not go into narration. Let's go step by step. It will be too confusing otherwise. Okay, let's see now. All the assets will start coming in. Now video generation takes time, so bear with me. And I'll fine tune this video and add it. Now, meanwhile, because it will take time, let's share my screen and let me see if you can hear the voices from the screen. I'm just sharing my screen. Okay. From the screen, if I play something, let me know if you can hear it. Chrome cam, screen audio. Okay. So please let me know if you can hear this voice.
200 से अधिक नेटफ्लिक्स और अमेजॉन प्राइम शोज में अपनी आवाज देने वाले विराज कुकू एफएम, ऑडिबल और पॉकेट एफएम के लिए भी नरेशन करते हैं।
Can you guys hear it? The video audio that I played? Alright, so everybody. So please let me know if you can hear this voice.
200 से अधिक नेटफ्लिक्स और अमेजॉन
Okay, it's coming. Thank you. Okay, now in the agent, so what this 11 labs is, and you'll also have a free and a paid plan. If you are generating one or two
200
videos
से
for a
अधिक
hobby,
नेटफ्लिक्स और अमेजॉन
you
प्राइम
will
शोज
not
में
need a paid
अपनी आवाज
subscription.
देने
But
वाले विराज
for video
कुकू
generation
एफएम,
or for
ऑडिबल और
continuous
पॉकेट
audio
एफएम के लिए भी
generation,
नरेशन करते हैं। 200 से अधिक
you will need a lot of tokens from this. Okay. Okay, so what it does, it also has, so if you're using 11 labs only, you can use 11 labs as API and call all of this put together into your video, so you do not need key. And I'm planning to move to 11 labs because 11 labs has launched all of the models here. Okay, and if you see flows,
200 से अधिक नेटफ्लिक्स और अमेजॉन प्राइम शोज में अपनी आवाज देने वाले विराज कुकू
Where is
एफएम,
the audio playing?
ऑडिबल और पॉकेट एफएम के लिए भी नरेशन करते हैं।
Okay, now if you see there's a lot of flows available. If you see how it's created, and we are doing something very similar now. Oh, it's a very big flow. Let's go to some very simple flow so that you get an understanding. Let's look at this lady. Okay, now they called Nano Banana Pro to create an image. They called Nano Banana Pro to create the lady. Then they called another prompt to create two scenes, and then they created video out of it. Okay, and then they added text to speech directly. So this could be a simple way, but you will have to drag and drop and make entire this. Versus once you build an agent, you just narrate a story and it will do it all for you. Okay, if you see the flow, it's saying create an image, then create a lady, then hold them together, and then create a video, and then add a dubbing. Okay, so I'll transition. Basically what we need is a narration. Okay, I'll go back to this, and I have text to speech. And let's see if we have a narration done by our AI agent somewhere. So AI agents actually wanted to show you something for just generation. Let's create the same generation in the chat GPT session that we were using. Okay. Create a 2 minutes narration of this, which I can paste in ElevenLabs for the narration. And I'm copying this, pasting this, and I'm pasting in ElevenLabs and see what it does. And I'll choose a voice for narration.
Let's dive into the details, one step at a time, making every concept crystal clear.
So I need, let's say I need an English accent. I don't want to filter. I want for narration, and I see some good narration voices available. So there are free voices and there are premium voices. Of course, premium voices you'll need to have the subscription.
22-year-old Dylan Price was last seen entering a Salt Lake City.
So this is, I like this one, so I'm just gonna keep this copy. So I'll just use this, and then I go back and I say generate speech.
Got it? And I'll keep this ElevenLabs friendly. Clean pacing, pauses, emotional flow. No weird punctuation. In a world racing toward the stars, success meant everything.
I copied ChatGPT
High above the
prompts as well.
city, in a tower of glass and light, lived a rabbit who had it all. Power, respect, a future written among the stars. But at home, he was simply Dad. Every night, two little hands held on a little tighter. Every goodbye lasted a second
Look at the
longer,
quality of the voice,
and in
I
quiet
really
moments
liked
his
it.
wife watched, with a smile that carried worry. Far from the towers,
Okay, so we can use these kind of a video. So let's see if some videos have been generated. If yes, we'll show you how the assets comes, and then we are just left with editing. Alright, some images. It says it has created. Our agent was working in the background. I do not see any agents. Alright, our agent is still generating. Where is, do I have enough credits on key? Or everybody used my spent only $0.36, so I should have. Whoa, I ran out of the credits. Okay, let me keep you in the transition. It's very embarrassing. Okay, I had enough credits. Let me transition to VS Code. You guys stay here while I make the payment. Because I do this a lot. Oops. Alrighty, I'm making a live stream payment. How many time you have seen somebody making live payment on a live stream? This is the first time. All right, we'll have our videos quickly. Okay, now how many of you know understood what 11 Lab does? And yeah, it's always first time, Venki. All right, so just waiting for you know the videos to get generated, and then we'll get into editing. We'll spend another meanwhile it's happening, video generation is happening. I'll talk about remotion. Okay, remotion is actually when a video is generated. You have heard this term called 24 fps, 30 fps. What are those? So these fps is actually nothing but the frame per second. Okay, what it does means it's images running in a sequence that appear as videos. Okay, and if you see, there is something called agent skills, and it's available, and it's a React library, so somebody who knows development can do even better on this. It's a React library that is meant for motion graphics, but it has a lot of editing skills as well, and we'll talk into how the editor works. If you do not know editing, I use multiple tools. I use mostly Canva. I use as pro as DaVinci Pro, and I use this skill as well because it can also transition a lot of it can do a lot of motion graphics as well. It can add subtitles on top of it. It can animate some stuff. So if you have seen my last video was about, there was some motions moving on top of my head where things were moving. So you can actually use this skill to edit something. Okay, so once the videos are generated, so the way it works is it has a pre-built skill, which means you don't have to worry about what code it generates. You simply have to know how to use it. And what it does is actually creating a lot of code for your scenes, which actually you can see it as a video. Okay, any questions on this? And it's available on multiple types of ways. There is a paid model as well. You would not need paid model at all for this. Paid model is unless you are very very pro and you would want editing, manual editing as well. If you know manual editing, you can use Canva as well. It's free. The free version is good enough for you to edit, and this is a skill that's available. So I'm just copy this command and I'll paste it in my terminal. And I'll just simply paste it here. I'll say yes. So it has added remotion skills. And I'm saying I'm using Claude code. I say yes, I want to use Claude code. I want to install it in my project. And I want to use Symlink. Symlink is basically a shortcut. If there are multiple agents, it's just basically create links to it so that it does not create same file for all type of agents, because as I shown you, Claude creates .claude folder, some other will create another kind of a folder. Okay, and the skill is installed. Now we'll go on to our skills and we'll see that it has created another skill. And in the skills folder, now I have Pixar short filmmaker and I have remotion best practices as a skill as well. Okay, now let's see. Meanwhile, I'll go back to transition and see what is our agent has been doing so far. Okay, guys, this video generation is really large, and that's why I said I'll also have a shorter version of this. And if you see it, we are now seeing some of the assets. Okay, audios have b-rolls will come here, characters. So characters have been generated, scenes have not been generated. Look at this. Wow. Look at our characters in different shots. Now can you imagine what kind of movie this will come out to be? I'm amazed. I'm actually amazed. The prompts that it has created. Imagine these will all be moving in some time. And we have also now got our first scene. Look at that. The first video is available. Look at that. Now we'll wait for other videos to come. So video 1 is available. Now it's calling different videos. It is available. All right. We'll wait for it. Any question, guys, so far? Because video generation will take time. And then it's all about editing. I would want some videos to come and then we'll talk about how the editing was done. I'm just waiting, guys, chilling. All right. I'm chilling. I'm just waiting for stream to sync. I'm very excited how the video will come out. Then we'll just have to put this video together. We can look at Canva for now if 2-3 videos are generated, so that we'll understand it. AI video, I think we'll do another session. I don't want to extend this session beyond 2 hours. Thank you, lovely, so much for all the time that you've given me today. So if a couple of videos are generated, we'll show a standard video editing, and we'll do an AI video editing session, because this session was more about how sub agents can actually make you very creative. So we'll definitely don't want to extend this. Video generation takes time. Every video will take couple of minutes. And our video 2 is also created. It's still creating. Wow. Okay, second video. So it's in transition. So both videos will look like this put together. I'll just take this video and I'll just open Canva. I'll create a new project on Canva. Okay, I'll create a project. I'll create a landscape video. And I'll upload. Okay, my videos is getting uploaded. And I just drag and drop these videos here. So my first video is this. I'll say see video as a background, then I'll add this. And on Canva I use something called transition, is something called match and move. So it will try to match all the motion if there are similar thing. And this is how the video comes out to be. This is one video, 16 seconds done. Alright guys, I think we'll talk narration. We have learned, we're waiting for all the videos to be generated. And the third video is also generated. Yeah, we'll do some editing. There are some overlaps missing. So we'll do some editing. If you know basic editing, how to put cuts and all, you can do that. I'm just uploading my third video. Third video is also generated and I'm just uploading that. And then you get the idea. Okay, I'll not talk about the entire video. Will not produce the entire video. It's gonna take time because we have created a really large 2-minute video. Every video is taking 2 minutes time. So if so I've added 3 shots. We'll do some cuts where the transition looks smooth between them. There is some flickering happening because videos are made in and this is how 24-second video so far. Alright, so this was about an entire video studio making. I'll create an entire video and share it. We have about 24 seconds of video done. We'll make few cuts. It will be around 1.2. AI video editing. We know Remotion. Please read about it. We'll have a session soon on Remotion so that you'll understand how the editing is done. So that cuts and everything, how do you make sure? But there are still editing will still require some human touch because if somebody is not talking, AI will not be able to understand frame by frame where the frame is and make the cuts. So it's not gonna do magical stuff for you, but it's gonna take away a lot of heavy lifting for you. With that said, I'll end my stream for today. I hope this was helpful. We learned about how do we find ideas of connecting different type of API service, all the different type of services in API. Okay, and video 4th is getting generated right now, guys. I'll share my transition. Let's keep it here. Okay, so now today we learned about Ollama, which was doing some of my stuff. So my entire story could have been done by Ollama. I did not use it though. Then basic storytelling, then the framing and everything. Whenever I was writing text from a context, that could have been done through Ollama. Then we learned about sub agents and we created multiple sub agents. Then we found a technique that how do I connect different type of models. We just need an API or an MCP server to connect to any services. So those also became API services. And then we extended VO and a lot of this. I am liking this story so far. It's very interesting. I'll complete the story and I'll share the video in the groups. There are 44 shots to go, so I'm sure it's going to take some time. With that said, I'm ending my stream. If any questions, I'm waiting for another 2 minutes because the stream is I think running behind by 1 minute as far as I can see on the live stream. So any question, please post it now. 4 shots are generated right now. You can try with a 20-24 second story, very small stories. Okay, if no questions, peace. I'll just type thank you or I'm done and we'll close the session. Editing I wanted to cover, I think, but session has already been almost 2 hours now. Four shots are generated right now. Thanks, Ankit. You can try with a 20-24 second story, very small stories. Okay, if no questions. Alright, I can hear my own voice in the stream, so which means people are saying, okay, thank you, bye bye. Any question, please ask on the group. Thanks for your time today.